Hey gang, and welcome back. Just a reminder, you can now use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com. You'll get 10% off orders over $10 and help with the channel at the same time. We are back at it again, this game coming at you from Montreal. I am playing Prossh, and I keep Raging Ravine, Bayou, Crop Rotation, Phyrexian Tower, Skullclamp, and Arbor Elf. Kevin is playing his Gonti deck and keeps 2 Swamps, Reanimate, Puppeteer Clique, Victimize, Cage Sun, and Viscera Seer. Fred is playing Slimefoot and keeps Toxic Deluge, Verdant Force, 2 Swamps, Forest, Grim Backwoods, and Eternal Witness. Evil Adam is playing his Muldrotha deck and keeps a hand with Exotic Orchard, Mystic Remora, Wooded Foothills, Command Tower, Simic Signet, and Cavern of Souls. Evil Adam wins the die roll and starts us off. Evil Adam plays a Wooded Foothills, cracking it and taking 1 to find a forest land from his library. I play a Bayou, and I bring in an Arbor Elf. Kevin plays a Swamp and casts Viscera Seer. Fred plays a Forest and casts a Thalid. It's the Fallen Empire's version, so I'm obviously confused by the card. Evil Adam plays a Cavern of Souls, naming Elemental, and casts Simic Signet. I play a tapped Raging Ravine as my land for turn, and then cast Chrome Mox, imprinting Sylvan Scrying to it. I then cast Skullclamp and pass. Kevin plays a Swamp and evokes a Shriekmaw. He kills my Arbor Elf and moves to combat. He swings a Viscera Seer at Evil Adam and hits him for 1 before passing to Fred. Fred puts a whatever counter on the Thalid and starts his turn. He plays a Swamp and passes. Evil Adam plays a Command Tower and casts Mana Vault. He uses the Mana Vault and his remaining lands to pay for his commander, Muldrotha. I draw and play my own Wooded Foothills, cracking it and taking 1 to go find a land. While I'm doing so, Kevin sacrifices his Viscera Seer to its own ability, scrying the top card and putting it on the bottom because he hasn't drawn a land yet. I grab a Cinder Glade and I pass to Kevin. Kevin draws for turn but still has no land to play and passes. Fred plays a Grim Backwoods and casts Toxic Deluge. He puts 6 life into it and kills Muldrotha. Evil Adam pays for his Mana Vault and tap on his upkeep and draws for turn. He plays a Marsh Flats, taking 1 and sacrificing it to go and find a land. He finds an Underground Sea and taps it for 1 blue to cast a Mystic Remora. I play a Phyrexian Tower for my turn and bring out Blood Artist. I then equip the Blood Artist with the Skullclamp, killing it and draining Fred for 1 while also drawing 2 cards. I finish off my turn with a Goblin Bombardment, and Evil Adam draws as I can't pay 4 for it. Kevin draws a Swamp, playing it, and passes. Fred plays a Forest and pays 3 to cast Eternal Witness. He returns the Toxic Deluge to his hand and passes. Evil Adam pays for the Mystic Remora cumulative upkeep to keep it around. He then plays an Exotic Orchard and pays 5 to cast Vraska. He down takes his Planeswalker to destroy my Skullclamp, making an enemy for life. I draw for turn and I bring out a Chromatic Lantern. I don't pay the extra 4 and Adam draws. I then pass to Kevin. Kevin drops a Swamp and immediately casts Gonti. He takes Adam's top 4 cards, keeping 1 of them for his nefarious uses. Fred plays a Swamp for his turn and casts his own commander, Slimefoot. He then moves to combat, and the Eternal Witness finishes off Vraska. Evil Adam pays 2 to maintain the Remora on his upkeep and draws for turn. He plays an island, and Caustic Caterpillar hits the field. Adam then casts a Phantasmal Image, having it come into play as a copy of the Eternal Witness. He returns Vraska to his hand and recasts the Planeswalker. Evil Adam then downticks her to kill Slimefoot. I draw for turn and cast Skyshroud Claim, and Adam draws a card. I grab a Taiga and a tapped Overgrown Tomb before passing to Kevin. Kevin plays an Urborg and casts an Expedition map, letting Adam draw. He thinks about attacking, but decides to simply crack the map to now go and find a land. It's not what you're expecting though, actually it is, and Kevin goes to find Cabal Coffers. Fred plays a Swamp and casts a Green Sun Zenith where X is 5. Adam draws, and Fred gets to go find a Tendershoot Dryad. He puts it onto the field and passes to Adam. On Adam's upkeep, Adam takes 1 and leaves his Mana Vault tapped, and Fred gains a Sapperling token. Adam then pays 3 for the Mystic Remora and moves to his draw step finally. He plays a tapped Blooming Marsh as his land drop for turn and brings out a Sower of Temptation. He steals Fred Dryad and passes to me without upticking Vraska. On my upkeep, Adam gains a Sapperling token, and I pay 6 in my main phase to cast Prossh. I gain 6 Kobolds on cast, and I pass to Kevin. Kevin plays Cabal Coffers, while Adam adds another Sapperling to his side of the table. Kevin creates 6 black mana with the coffers, and pays 5 to cast Grey Merchant of Asphodel. With the merchant trigger on the stack, I sacrifice 2 goblins to kill the dryad, not wanting anyone to have it, and then all of Kevin's opponents get drained for 4 while he gains 12. Kevin then moves to combat and swings Gonti at me, which I block with a kobold token and sacrifice it to the bombardment, killing Adam's caustic caterpillar. In his second main phase, Kevin casts Victimize, sacrificing Gonti to bring back his Viscera Seer and the Shriekmaw. Shriekmaw targets the phantasmal image, which shies just from being targeted. Fred plays a swamp and recasts Slimefoot. He then passes to Adam. On his upkeep, Adam takes 1 from the vault and finally lets his Remora die. He draws for turn and plays an Underground River. Adam then taps 4 mana, using 1 of the black mana to cast a Dark Ritual. He taps 2 more lands for the rest of the Muldrotha's cost and brings her out. With Muldrotha on the stack though, I cast Crop Rotation and sacrifice Cinder Glade to go and find Bojuka Bog, exiling Adam's graveyard. Adam asks why I didn't do it in response to Kevin's Victimize, but Viscera Seer didn't draw Kevin a bunch of cards like Mystic Remora did. Evil Adam then casts his own Viscera Seer, Twinsies, and then drops Animate Dead to bring back Fred's Tendershoot Dryad. Adam then hits Kevin for 6 and upticks Vraska, and as he moves to his end step, I sacrifice a Kobold to kill the Viscera Seer. Adam sacrifices it to itself, scrying the top card. On my upkeep, Adam gains a Sapling token and I draw for turn. I pay 9, sacrificing another Kobold to the Phyrexian Tower for 2 black mana to cast a Tooth and Nail Entwined. I grab Xenagos and a Craterhoof Behemoth, and Xenagos is active as it hits the field, so my creatures get pumped by +4/+4. Moving to combat, I put the Xenagos trigger on Prossh, and swing Prossh and Xenagos at Adam, Craterhoof at Kevin, and the lone token at Fred. We realize that Xenagos doesn't have haste because I'm bad at magic, so it's just Prossh heading at Adam. Adam puts a fairy in front of Prossh and takes 17 damage, while Fred takes 4 and Kevin takes 9. Kevin casts a Macleod the Unhallowed in his main phase, and I regret attacking Adam. Once the zombie resolves, Kevin sacrifices the Grey Merchant to the Viscera Seer, returning it with the Undying trigger. All of Kevin's opponents are drained for 7, and he gains 21. Kevin then sacrifices the Merchant again to the Seer and scries. He then casts Reanimate, losing 5 life to bring it back once more. We all lose another 7, and Kevin gains 21. Kevin sacrifices the Merchant again, and we take a further 7 for a total of 21 each so far, and Kevin gains another 14 life. Kevin hits me with a Shriekmaw for 4 and passes to Fred. Fred untaps and draws for turn. He casts a Soul Ring and sacrifices a Saproling to Grim Backwoods to draw a card, deal 1 to Kevin and I, and gain 1 life. Fred then goes for broke and casts a Toxic Deluge, paying 5 life. Kevin responds, sacrificing the Shriekmaw, which comes back thanks to Macleod. He targets my Craterhoof, and I sacrifice it to deal 1 to Kevin with Bombardment, since I wouldn't kill the Viscera Seer anyway. Thinking about it now though, I don't think Fred could have been able to cast it because he would have been dead when the spell hit the stack, and it wouldn't have resolved. Oh well. I draw for turn, dropping a Kessig Wolfrun, and cast Purphoros. We realize that Xenagos should be alive, which I bring back, and I cast Sidisi unto Vizier. It deals 2 to Kevin upon entering, and I don't exploit anything. Moving to combat, I put the Xenagos trigger on Sidisi, and swing her at Kevin for 8. I then pass turn. Kevin draws for turn and makes 6 mana with his Cabal Coffers. He then casts a Puppeteer Clique and steals my Craterhoof Behemoth from my graveyard. Kevin is able to cast a Profane Command, where X is 2, and deals 2 damage to me and brings back his Viscera Seer. Kevin sacrifices the Clique again to the Seer and brings back my Blood Artist. Moving to combat, he hits me with my own Craterhoof, and that's all she wrote as we move to the next game. Game review time. So, my threat assessment might have been a bit off after the turn where I exiled Adam's graveyard. I will still defend that that was the right move, as at the time I didn't know Kevin had Macleod the Unhallowed in his hand. This game was filmed after playing against Adam's Muldrotha deck several times, so I was well aware of what he was able to do with an unchecked graveyard. This was just the first iteration of the deck, so it'd be interesting to see how the old deck versus the new deck match up. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a new game with the updated deck, and you guys can check it out. Fred's Slimefoot deck unfortunately didn't perform as well as it did last game, and he really struggled to get any kind of Saproling generator going. His casting of Toxic Deluge was very aggressive this game, and I'm pretty sure the second time around wouldn't have resolved since he would have been dead. These kind of mistakes are unfortunately part of filming games, but thankfully there have only been 1 or 2 cases where I've had to completely discard the game as a result of an issue. It's a real testament to the power of Cabal Coffers that Kevin was able to pull out a win this game, as he was so far behind in mana and card advantage that basically what was only going to keep him in the game was if he was able to do some degenerate stuff very quickly. I think the largest turning point in the game was when I used the crop rotation, and unfortunately, had I known Kevin had access to things like Cabal Coffers with his Expedition map and Macleod the Unhallowed in his hand, I would have played it a lot more conservatively.
I could have used it in response to the Undying trigger, exiling the Grey Merchant, and basically stopping Kevin from gaining all that life, killing Adam, and basically winning the game. This would have allowed me probably to establish a better board position, or at the very least deal more damage by casting Perforos and recasting Prossh. I did think it was particularly funny that Kevin basically more or less killed me with my own creatures, mainly my Blood Artist and my Craterhoof Behemoth, so there was some karmic justice.
Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/MTGMudsta. And lastly, you can check me out when I stream at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in support by my patrons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.